Hi everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Fargo Force Show. I am Trevor Peterson, your host, and we're pleased to be joined this week by Force forward Austin Pooley, who we'll get to in just a second. The Force in the past 2 weeks played 4 games. They went 2-1-1, and we'll talk about those games in a second, but let's talk with Mr. Pooley as first. Austin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. You were with the Omaha Lancers of the USHL last year, got traded in the offseason to the Force. Last year with Omaha, you only scored 1 goal and had 8 assists. This year, you're leading the team in scoring, or in point, tied for second in points, leading the team in goals this year with 4 for the Force. Just tell me about the difference between your first year in the USHL to the second year with the Force. You're tearing it up.
I think last year when I came in, I was probably a little young for the league. I probably should have went back and played one more year, but I mean, it's every kid's dream to play in this league.
Sure.
So if I said I had the opportunity, I might as well take it. So I went in and I was a bottom 6 forward there, and my job wasn't to score goals. My job was to get the puck in, create energy, get to the net, and that's what I had to do to play every night. So that's what I wanted to do, and was just trying to win a championship there. So that was my role. So I think the biggest difference between last year and this year is probably my role, and just more confident, and that starts in practice. You know, doing well in practice, it leads right over to a game, and just like a snowball, it just keeps going and going.
How pleased have you been with what you've been doing this year? I mean, 6 points, 4 goals, 2 assists. Have things just felt much more comfortable, much more easy for you this year?
Oh yeah, I just just older. I had a really big off season. I worked really hard in the weight room and on the ice, and I was pretty prepared when I came into camp this year. Was excited for kind of a fresh start. Didn't know what to expect, but I just worked really hard. And
now you're from Dublin, Ohio.
I am.
So
yes.
tell me a little about your thoughts of being in Fargo, North Dakota with the Force.
I'm surprised that NDSU football is as big as it is, because obviously Ohio State football is huge down there. You know, the Big Ten, and but yeah, I'm surprised at how big. I didn't know there was football up here, to be honest with you, but it's pretty big.
Well, Force hockey is also very big. And tell me a little bit about what you think is your biggest strength on the ice, Austin. What's the best thing that you bring to the table?
I think I have really good straightaway speed, and I think I see the ice really well. I'm a big presence on the ice, can be physical, protect the puck well. With that being said, though, there's a lot of things that I can work on and get better at.
So what's the thing? What's the biggest thing that and how much can you improve on something throughout the season? And what's the biggest thing that you want to try to do with that?
My shot, just trying to get my shot better. I mean, if you have a good shot, you can score a lot of goals. And that was something I worked a lot on in the off season. Just my skating, you can never be a good enough skater. And then just getting better with the puck, being a little more savvy with the puck and making some stronger plays, working on my hands a little bit more, stuff like that.
Now, we were talking a little bit before we started taping here. You got a pretty good family background with hockey. Talk a little bit about that in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, well, my dad grew up in Ontario, Canada, in a small town. It's called Exeter, of about 5,000 people. Him and his twin brother grew up there, and then they got the opportunity to go and play at Ohio State. And they were both All-Americans there, and my uncle's jersey's actually retired there. And they both signed contracts with the Winnipeg Jets and played for them for a bit. They were up and down, and then
Did they both play for them at the same time?
Yeah, they did actually.
Nice.
They were on the same line almost all the way through their hockey
careers.
careers.
That's pretty unique. Huh? I bet they got some good memories about that.
Yeah, and twins too. My dad and uncle were both very fortunate. They won a Calder Cup with Winnipeg's farm team, so that was a pretty special moment for them. And then after that, they got married and settled down and had me, I guess. So.
All right. Well, the hockey genes continue with Austin Pooley. So now, as we talked to open the show, the Force in the past 2 weeks had played 4 games. They went 2-1-1. So let's do a little recap of these past 2 weeks with the Force with the help of Austin. The first game was the first game in 3 games in 3 straight days for the Force. They hosted the Lincoln Stars for back-to-back games at Shields Arena. It was in the second period of the first game, 1-0 Force, when Zach Jan bangs home the rebound after the shot by Dennis Smirnov. That made it 2-0 Force. Then Lincoln would answer, though, later. Watch this fantastic play. Von Ungern Sternberg August. That's a great name, and here's a great pass on his belly to Miguel Fiedler. 2-1 Force at that point. It was 2-2 after 2. It went back and forth from there, and then in the third, with 4 goals scored, it went to overtime, tied at 4, where Mikey Eismont from the Force on the power play gave the Force the win. 5-4, the Force get it in overtime. Eismont with the goal at 2:57. Austin, how big just to start the homestand with a win?
Oh, huge. I mean,
and to do it in that way, too, dramatic fashion.
Get the fans kind of involved, give them a heart thriller there. But it's huge. I mean, especially I wasn't here last year, but I don't think it was the way that people wanted it to go, obviously. But to kind of show the fans that like we're for real this year. Like the Fargo Force is back. Like,
well, talking about that, I mean, you guys only had
big.
14 wins last year. You already have 6 this year, and you're only 9 games in. I mean, that just has to be a great feeling.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we have really high expectations for this year. I think one thing that really fuels our team is that going into this year, not many people thought much of our team. I mean, we saw preseason rankings coming out, and we were bottom 4 on those, and I just don't think that people really believed in our group. And I think that was one thing that every time we step on the ice is like we play with a chip on our shoulder, like we're going to show you, like. That kind of mentality.
Well, it's serving you guys well so far. So then next night on Saturday or Friday, the Force came back with the same Lincoln opponent there against the Stars, and this one was a little bit different. The Force donning their orange, white, and black unis, very Halloween-like, appropriate. Scoreless through 2 periods, so we go to the third. Lincoln's Blake Christensen with the wicked wrister. That put it 1-0 Stars. But 49 seconds later, Fargo's C.J. Hayes, great work in front of the net, scores it 1-1. Let's take a look at this replay a little, Austin, with CJ working in front of the net.
Yeah. Good effort to get to the net there, win that puck battle. Good things happen when you go to the net, right?
That's right. Now, some nice defensive work kept it tied here. Take a look at this. Lincoln's Patrick Polino with the nice breakaway chance, but Matthias Israelson and Justin Beaudry team up to stave off the goal. Look at Beaudry sweeping it away as it's just about to cross the goal line. It would go to overtime for the second straight night, and this time Lincoln would come on top as Dominic Sacco would slip one through. Past Israelson there off the rebound, stops the first one, but able to slip that one through, and Lincoln comes up with the 2-1 overtime victory in that one. Sacco scoring at the 3:06 mark. So 1 overtime win, 1 overtime loss for the Force in their first 2 games. Now the next night, Saturday, the Force would play again, 3rd game in 3 days, down in Sioux Falls versus the Stampede, and it was a 4-1 loss. The Force were outshot in that one, 38-15. So their record after that 4-1 loss was 5-2-1. What do you remember about that Sioux Falls game, Austin?
I think it was a kind of a character-building game for our group. I mean, they came out really physical, and we kind of backed down. And I know our coaching staff wasn't too happy with that, knowing that we're the better, bigger, stronger, faster team than them. But I think we got scared. We're kind of intimidated by their building, all their fans. I think we had a lot of guys that were kind of like, whoa.
Do you guys feel like, I mean, this year, even compared to, I guess you can't really speak about last year, but do you guys feel like this year that when you step on the ice, you are one of the bigger, faster, stronger teams?
Absolutely, and I think that started in our preseason training. I think we were working harder than any other team in the league, and getting stronger, faster, and it just carried over and just building confidence, just like a snowball. And we like winning, but at the same time, it's about the process. It's about getting better every day. Coming to the rink with that mentality, because it's not who's the best team now, it's the best team it's the team that's best in March and April.
Right. Well, you guys are starting off well. Now, the following weekend, the Force had just 1 game. They hosted the Waterloo Blackhawks at Shields Arena, and this one would go extra minutes as well. Second period now, 1-0 Waterloo. Austin Pooley off the slapper from Chuck Bennis. Austin Pooley puts in the rebound, tied it at 1, heading to the third. Here's a little replay. Austin? Tell me about this. This is your goal.
It was really good. Before this, Dixon Bowen had a lot of really good board work down low, won a couple battles. Got the puck up to, I think, Chuck Bennis, who made a really strong play to the net there.
And you just crashed, huh?
And I just crashed the net, found the rebound.
All right, we go to the third period now. TJ Rue on the power play flies in, and he gives the Force a 2-1 lead with that goal.
Yeah, that was a huge power play goal. Our power play's been struggling a little bit.
Another look at it?
Yeah. Been struggling a little bit, and it was just great to get a power play goal there. Huge momentum change for our team there.
But Waterloo would send the game into overtime, scoring with 15 seconds left with an extra attacker, so then it went to a shootout. And after stopping the first Waterloo shot, Kyle Sylvester with a great move for the Force with the first shootout goal there, 1-0. Then it was Waterloo's chance, and Matthias Israelson, just like he came up with the first one, with another just really patient save right there. Great work, so he stones the first 2 shots. And then Dennis Smirnov with a chance for the Force to get him the win in shootout. And look at this fantastic move. Backhand 5-hole.
Filthy.
That was really nice. 2-0. Force win the shootout and come up with a 3-2 victory overall. So the Force with a nice weekend, the only game in the weekend, their second shootout win of the season, and you're now 3-1 in games that go the extra time. Austin, tell me a little bit about that. You guys seem to, I don't know if it's like going extra time or whatever, but you guys are having some pretty good success so far.
Yeah, I think overtime really benefits our game. 4-on-4, there's a little bit more speed, a little bit more open ice, and I think we got a lot of guys that can skate and have a lot of skill. And then in shootouts, we got guys that can, like I said, are really skilled and can put the puck in the net. And then we got, obviously, Matthias, who it's like a brick wall back there for us.
He's done really well. So let's take a look at the standings now. After the past 2 weeks, the Force are tied for second place in the USHL's Western Conference. Sioux City leading things with an 8-1-1 record and 17 points, but the Force right there, 6-2-1, tied with Tri-City and Des Moines with 13 points. Tell me a little bit about just being 6-2-1 early on in the season and looking up those standings, seeing your name right near the top.
Yeah, it was. Our coach was talking to us about it right away. Like, we got to get a good start. We got to get the fans back involved in this program, and so we took that to heart and we set a goal to have a really good start, and I think we've done that. But as you can see, the Western Conference is so tight this year that you just can't take a weekend off. I mean, everyone's good, so you can't take anyone for granted. Every night's a big night, and you got to bring your best game.
Well, now the Force are going to have their work cut out for them in the next couple weeks as well. The upcoming schedule for the Force looks like this. The next weekend, Friday and Saturday on Halloween, and the next night you're at Dubuque, who's 5-3-0, and then the following weekend the Force are on the road at Des Moines, who are 6-2-1. Tied with you guys in the Western Conference. And then Saturday night, November 8th, you guys are at Cedar Rapids, who is 7-1-0. They're first in the Eastern Conference. So a big next few games for the Force. You're going to really be tested.
Yeah, huge. Dubuque's got a really good club this year. And then I think Sioux City, I think we play them later this month, as well as Cedar Rapids. Both really, really good hockey teams in the East. So we got to bring our best game against them. But I think we're just focused on getting better today, getting prepared for the first game in Dubuque this Friday, so it should be a really good test for us.
And now we should mention that all Friday and Saturday home games this season for the Force, there's a viewing party at Spicy Pie Pizza in West Fargo. It's free, so if you want to catch some Force action when they're on the road, Spicy Pie Pizza in West Fargo, all Friday and Saturday road games this season. And of course, for tickets for all home games throughout the season, go to fargoforce.com as well. Austin, thanks for joining me. Nice job today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. We'll see you next time on the Fargo Force Show.